I don't know what that dream is that you have. I don't care how disappointing it might have been as you've been working toward that dream. That dream that you're holding in your mind, that it's possible. That some of you already know that it's hard. It's not easy. It's hard changing your life. That in the process of working on your dreams, you are going to incur a lot of disappointment, a lot of failure, a lot of pain. There are moments when you're going to doubt yourself and say, God, why is this happening to me? I'm just trying to take care of my children and my mother. I'm not trying to steal or rob from anybody. Why did this have to happen to me? For those of you that have experienced some hardships, don't give up on your dream. There are rough times are going to come, but they have not come to stay. They have come to pass.
Greatness is not this wonderful, esoteric, elusive, God-like feature that only the special among us will ever taste. You know, it's something that truly exists in all of us.
It's very important for you to believe that you are the one. Most people, they raise a family, they earn a living, and then they die. They stop growing, they stop working on themselves, they stop stretching, they stop pushing themselves. That a lot of people like to complain, but they don't want to do anything about their situation. And most people don't work on their dreams. Why? One is because of fear. The fear of failure. What if things don't work out? And the fear of success. What if they do and I can't handle it? These are not risk takers.
You spend so much time with other people. You spend so much time trying to get people to like you. You know other people more than you know yourself. You studied them. You know about them. You want to hang out like them. You want to be just like them. And you know what? You've invested so much time in them, you don't know who you are. I challenge you to spend time by yourself.
It's necessary that you get the losers out of your life if you want to live your dream. But people who are running toward their dreams, life has a special kind of meaning.
When you become the right person, what you do is you start separating yourself from other people. You begin to have a certain uniqueness. As long as you're following other people, as long as you're being a copycat, you will never ever be the best copycat in the world. But you will be the best you could be. I'm telling you to define your value.
That everybody won't see it. That everybody won't join you. That everybody won't have the vision. It's necessary to know that you are an uncommon breed. It's necessary that you align yourself with people and attract people into your business who are hungry, people who are unstoppable and unreasonable, people who are refusing to leave life just as it is and who want more. The people that are living their dream of finding winners to attach themselves to. The people that are living their dreams are the people that know that if it's going to happen, it's up to them.
If you want to be more successful, if you want to have and do stuff you ain't never done before, number two, I'm asking you to invest in you. To invest in you.
Someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. That you don't have to go through life being a victim. And even though you face disappointments, you have to know within yourself that I can do this. Even if no one else sees it for me, I must see it for myself.
This is what I believe, and I'm willing to die for it, period.
No matter how bad it is or how bad it gets, I'm going to make it.
I want to represent an idea. I want to represent possibilities.
And some of you right now, you want to be, you know what I'm saying, you want to go to the next level. I want to counsel, I want to be an engineer, I want to be a doctor. Listen to me, you can't get to that level. You can't get to the level economically where you want to be until you start investing in your mind. You're not reading books. I'm challenging y'all to go to conferences. I dare you to invest time. I dare you to be alone. I dare you to spend an hour getting to know yourself. When you become who you are, when you become the person that you were created to be, designed to be who you were designed to be, when you become an individual, what you do is you take yourself and you start separating yourself from other people. I challenge you to get to a place where people don't like you, it don't even bother you no more. Why? Because you're not concerned with trying to make them happy, because you're trying to blow up. You're trying to get to the next level. I need you to invest in your mind. Invest in your mind. If you still talk about your dream, if you still talk about your goal, but you have not done anything, just take the first step.
That you can make your parents proud, you can make your school proud, you can touch millions of people's lives, and the world will never be the same again because you came this way. Don't let nobody steal your dream. After we face a rejection and a no, or we have a meeting and no one shows up, or somebody say, you can count on me, and they don't come through. What if we have that kind of attitude? The car's repossessed. Nobody believes in you. You've lost again and again and again. The lights are cut off, but you're still looking at your dream, reviewing it every day and saying to yourself, it's not over until I win. You can live your dream.
Saludos, bienvenidos. El gran día llegó, porque yo no sé si ustedes, pero yo llevo haciendo un conteo regresivo para la fecha de este webinar. Me quedé con muchísimas ganas de seguir escuchando a John Maxwell. Y aquí está John. Welcome, John.
Great to be with you, my friend.
Thank you so much. Todos estamos a la expectativa de pasar esta hora juntos y escucharte. So we are eager to listen to you. Quiero decirles que John ha sido declarado el autor número 1 en ventas por The New York Times, gracias a sus más de 25 millones de libros traducidos a 50 idiomas. Más de 40 de sus libros se han publicado en español. La American Management Association lo ha nombrado el líder número 1 en negocios, y Business Insider y la revista Inc. lo consideran el experto en liderazgo más influyente del mundo. Fundó 2 compañías y 2 organizaciones sin fines de lucro que han capacitado a más de 6 millones de líderes en los 196 países del mundo. Fue galardonado por la Luminary Leadership Network con el premio Madre Teresa por su liderazgo y paz global. ¡Wow! I want to be like you when I grow up. Cuando yo crezca, quiero ser como tú, John.
You will be, trust me. Plus, more.
John ha dado conferencias por todo el mundo. You speak to people all over the world every year, don't you?
I sure do. In fact, this year I've been in Australia, Asia. I just came back from Europe. And I'm a traveling man.
Y también das muchas conferencias en Latinoamérica. You speak a lot in Latin America too.
Oh, I love Latin America. In fact, almost every country, and recently Guatemala and Paraguay. In fact, we're very excited because in Guatemala we're doing leadership roundtables, and we've seen almost 200,000 people go through leadership roundtables to be trained in leadership values. We're getting ready in a couple of months to launch Paraguay the same way. And we love Latin America. Beautiful, beautiful people. When God created people, He started it with Latinos. and he just said, it starts with perfect people and I go downhill from there.
Oh, wow. Me encanta eso. ¿Por qué viajas tanto? Why do you travel that much?
Well, I love adding value to people. I really want to help people overcome obstacles and really make the very most of their opportunities, and most of all, through that, reaching their potential.
Y eso nos lleva justamente el alcanzar nuestro potencial al tema de este webinar de hoy, convirtiendo obstáculos en oportunidades. Yo quisiera preguntarle a John, y aquí él está para respondernos, ¿por qué cree que los obstáculos y los problemas son tan difíciles para la gente?
Well, we all have them.
Yes.
And they're just really a part of life. In fact, Sidney Harris said that when I hear somebody sigh, life is hard, I'm always tempted to ask, compared to what? I mean, life is difficult and everyone has problems. You've got problems. I have problems. We all have challenges and failure within our life. And so the question isn't, are we going to have challenges or are we going to fail? The question is, are you going to learn to what I call fail forward? Are you willing to learn how to turn those obstacles into opportunities.
Wow. Todos queremos saber cómo se hace eso. How do you do that?
Well, first of all, the temptation is for us to always focus on changing our circumstances. Don't do that. Focus on changing yourself. Most people focus on the outward and instead of working on the inward. And really what needs to be changed in our life is the way that we think. If we think correctly, everything else begins to come out correctly.
Wow. Es decir, que el problema para la mayoría de las personas que no pueden superar obstáculos es cómo piensan. Entonces, la pregunta sería, si yo no pienso bien, ¿eso quiere decir que tengo algo malo?
Well, no, although sometimes we think it is. You see, thinking really is a skill. It has to be learned. Ishmael, for example, you've received a lot of awards for communication. I love to hear you speak personally. And yet, I'll bet you weren't born a communicator, were you?
No. I kind of trained myself.
Sure.
And I started when I was 8. Yo comencé, como muchos de ustedes saben, cuando tenía 8 años nada más de edad en la radio. Y luego cuando tenía 15 comencé a hacer televisión. When I was only 15, I started doing TV. So I've been training myself for a long time.
And I know another thing you've shared with me is that you've studied communicators.
Yes.
Other great communicators. See, I did that as myself. And so you really, what you had to do, Ishmael, is you began working at getting better. I mean, we all have to work at getting better. And as I've studied successful people for over 40 years now, see, I've come to the conclusion that the greatest gap between successful people and unsuccessful people is how they think. Let me give you a story. My father, who is still alive by now, he's 94 years of age, and he's still works. But when he and Mom celebrated their 50th anniversary, our extended family, we all went to Hawaii. And one night, everybody else had gone to bed except Dad and me. And my father has always been a very positive thinker, adds value to people, encourages people. And I asked him, I said, Dad, have you always been positive? Have you always been this way? He said, no, son. He said, I was kind of born maybe with a melancholy and a little bit of a negative slant. But he said, I grew up in a little town. He said, we were all poor except 3 families. And those 3 families, he said, I did errands for them. I would come home from school and I'd change my clothes, and I'd go to their homes, and I just did errands and chores every evening. And he said, I would look at these families and I would ask myself, why are they so successful? And the rest of us are just not doing so well. He said, when I was a junior in high school, I came to this conclusion that those 3 families, their thinking was different than the rest of our thinking. And when he told me that story, I began to pull away for a moment and reflect. In fact, I went back to my room and I began to make a commitment to study how successful people think. But I learned 2 things that evening from my father, and that is, 1, successful people think differently, and 2, people can change the way that they think. Because that's exactly what my father did. He said, as a junior in high school, I said, wait a minute, I don't want to go down this route of thinking. I want to think like a successful person.
Wow.
And so for the next 5 years, I studied successful people and how they think. And then I started teaching the thinking skills. And I was so pleased because when I began to teach people how to think correctly and they began to learn those thinking skills, I watched them almost literally before my eyes begin to have changes, positive changes in their life. And Ishmael, I have identified 11 thinking skills that successful people engage in that unsuccessful people do not engage in. And that's what's exciting. Once I found out how successful people think, and then I began to teach that, I began to watch people who had not witnessed and experienced success in their life. I watched them begin to practice these thinking skills, and their life began to be much more positive.
I want the juice now. Yo quiero el jugo, exprimir a John aquí. Bueno, ¿nos podrías dar, John, uno de tus ejemplos favoritos? Can you give us a favorite example?
Well, of course, I just gave you a beautiful one with my father and the beautiful possibility thinking. And as we were talking about possibility thinking, what he said to me was beautiful. He said, John, possibility thinking make things seem more possible. And so when things seem to begin more possible, you begin to develop a positive attitude.
Wow.
Norman Vincent Peale, who wrote The Power of Positive Thinking, by far the most successful book ever written, was my father's mentor. And my father said, John, I began to study these thinking skills, and I began to read from him. And so he greatly influenced my life. In fact, my father, when I was in the 7th grade, took me to Columbus, Ohio to meet Norman Vincent Peale. And I can still remember walking down the steps at Veterans Memorial Auditorium after I had heard him speak and met him. And my father said, John, Norman Vincent Peale is a great man because he thinks correctly and he adds value to people. And then he said to me, you can do the same thing. And that, Ishmael, encouraged me to help other people think correctly. And it encouraged me to teach people about how to have a winning attitude, an attitude that allows you to win, allows me to win. Because attitude is so key. It's the difference maker.
Actitud ganadora. Winning attitude.
A winning attitude. That's
Actitud ganadora.
Because you know as well as I, you can have a losing attitude.
Yes.
And if you have a losing attitude, guess what? You lose. But if you have a winning attitude, it changes your life. And so in my book, I wrote a book called The Winning Attitude. In my book, I say that the attitude is the advanced man of your true self. In other words, it goes kind of before you, and basically says, he's coming. You know, it's you almost feel a bad attitude before you hear it, a bad attitude.
That's right.
And the attitude, its root is inward, starts inside of us, but the fruit of it is outward. And it's either your best friend or it's your worst enemy. And it's more honest, it's more consistent about you and me than our words are, because our attitude is really how we think and how we feel. So it's your outward look based on past circumstances and experiences. It's what draws people to you if you have a good attitude, or as you know, Ishmael, it's what repels people from you. And it's never content, never content until it's expressed. It's what I say, it's the librarian of your past, it's the speaker of your present, and it's the prophet of your future.
Wow.
Now, the key for all of us today to understand, and this is what excites me. This is what excites me about teaching you. Your attitude, my attitude, Ishmael's attitude is a choice. It's a choice that we can make. Now, something so important in thinking correctly and having the right attitude is a choice. That's a beautiful thing. My wife Margaret and I were having a conference several years ago. We were at a Q&A time, and a lady raised her hand and looked at my wife Margaret, and she asked her, does John make you happy? And of course, I think I'm a good husband, so I thought, oh, that's a good question. And then Margaret looked right back at her immediately and said, no, he doesn't make me happy. And I looked at her and looked at the audience. We were all kind of stunned for a moment, and I said, sweetheart, explain to the audience what you mean about me not making you happy. And she said, okay. And she looked right back at the audience and she said, in the first 6 months of our marriage, I realized John would never make me happy. Yes, ma'am. We're going downhill very quickly. Yeah. And then she said, because for the first 6 months of our marriage, I expected him to make me happy.
Oh.
I made him responsible for my happiness. I was teaching school and he was working, and then I'd come home and say, we'll spend an evening together, and then he had an emergency and we couldn't have dinner, or I was grading papers and we couldn't get together as much. And she said, I kept saying, he'll make me happy, he'll make me happy, he'll make me happy. And then she said, 6 months in the marriage, she said, I realized that happiness, attitude is a choice. And the only person that can make me happy is me. And then she said, I love this, Ishmael. She said, as soon as I took responsibility for my attitude, my happiness, she said, John has added immeasurably to my happiness.
Wow.
That was close. That was real close. And what was she saying? She was saying that attitude is a personal choice. And what I teach, and I'm so excited to be able to teach this to you, is what I teach is that you can make this choice, and this choice is the difference maker. And attitude's the difference in turning obstacles into opportunities.
Yes. Convertir obstáculos en oportunidades. John, ¿podrías compartir otra habilidad que puede ayudarnos a aprender a tomar esos obstáculos que todos tenemos en la vida y convertirlos en oportunidades?
Oh, yes. This one I love. In fact, this is one of my favorite skills to teach. I teach unselfish thinking. Now, what I mean by that is I teach us to think others first. Now, that's not natural. It's not natural for you. It's not natural for me. We're kind of born selfish, okay? And sometimes people say, "Oh, I'm not selfish at all." I said, "Okay, let's do the test. Let's do the selfish test." And here it is. The next time you're in a group photo, somebody's taking a picture of you and some of your friends. As soon as you look at that picture, let me ask you a question. Who's the first person you look for in that picture? You look for yourself, and I look for me. You look for me. I mean, that's who we are. In fact, that's how we determine if it's a good group picture. If I look good, I say, "Good group picture. Send me that one." And if I don't look good, I say, "Oh, no. Let's take another picture. I don't look very good in that." You see, we look at ourselves. That's just who we are. I remember having a friend at work that was just selfish, and he was always consumed with his problems and his issues. And I remember after being with him at work for about a year, I asked him one day, I said, "Would you just kind of spend a half a day with me?" And we lived in Ohio at that time. And I took him in the car, and I took him up to Columbus, Ohio, to the Children's Hospital. And I took him in the leukemia ward, where these precious little kids were not well, and many of them were not going to live. And we spent a couple of hours just visiting the kids, playing with them. And we got back into the car, and he was very quiet. And I looked at him and I said, "Bob, every time I'm around you, you talk about your problems, your issues. Now you've just seen little children, many of them who are not going to live. How big do you think your problems really are?"
Wow.
And he thanked me. I watched him turn around. Well, what happened is, for the first time, he began to be aware that he was selfish in his thinking. And he began to take his eyes off of himself, and he began to say, "I've got to begin to intentionally add value to other people." And that's the key. You kind of almost have to lose yourself to find yourself, and you find yourself when you no longer think selfishly, but you really think of adding value to you. For example, you've added immeasurably to my life, Ishmael. You and I have been friends now for a few years. And what you have taught, how you have lived, your career has really added immeasurably to me. And you have done that because you think of others first, and you are not a selfish person. What's exciting is that's exactly what we're going to share with you. We're going to teach you how to get away from yourself so that you can connect with other people.
And it's an exercise that we have to keep doing every day, un ejercicio que tenemos que seguir haciendo todos los días. Wow. Ok, ¿cuál es el proceso entonces, John, de convertir los obstáculos en oportunidades?
There is a process.
Yes.
And that's why I think this is so important, because I have discovered that most people cannot figure it out on their own. If they could, they would already have no problems. They would already be thinking correctly. There are 3 things that you must do. Number 1, put obstacles and mistakes into the proper perspective. You see, you need to see obstacles, failures, and mistakes as problems that can be solved. When I was young, in my 20s, I began to realize I have problems, you have problems. All God's children got problems, okay? We got problems. So I began to ask myself one day, what is a problem? And I said, well, a problem is, first of all, a predictor. When a problem comes to me, it's a great indicator by my response of what kind of a person I am. And it's also a reminder. It's a reminder that life is tough and life is difficult, and there is no such thing as a problem-free life. But here was the key. I realized that problems also were opportunities. That in every problem that I had, there was a seed of a benefit and an opportunity. And if I could look beyond the problem, I would see right beyond the problem, that was right in my face, an opportunity for something positive. So I said to myself, problems are blessings to me. That's the day that I made failure and problems a friend of mine, not an enemy. So when they came to me, I didn't try to run from them, I tried to learn from them. Which means problems are also lessons. They have something to teach me. They're everywhere. I got them, you got them, we all got them. And they are messages to us. They send us a signal. If we keep having the same problem, it sends us a signal that there's something we haven't yet learned and haven't yet changed. And the good news is every problem is solvable. I don't know what your problem is, but it's solvable. But listen to me carefully. It will only be solvable for you if you change your thinking. That's why, again, I teach people how to think successfully. If you and I don't think correctly, it is impossible for us to solve our problems. What's beautiful, though, is that mistakes, they're not permanent. Failure is not final. And when we fail or we make a mistake, we do one of two things, Ishmael. We either learn from it and really just stay there and let it teach us something so that we don't repeat it. Or, sadly, what most people do is they leave it. They just kind of flee the scene. They say, I'm out of here. Whoa, I'm a disclaimer. I'm not responsible. And if you leave your failure, you never learn from it. So you repeat it. The second thing is that we have to understand how opportunity works. And first, we have to understand that every obstacle gives us an opportunity. And what's it do? It gives us an opportunity to find a new path, to try a new way, to learn a new skill, to grow from a new experience. You know, Ishmael, because I've been writing and teaching for 40 plus years, what I discovered is that when people have problems, they allow those problems, because they don't think correctly, to defeat them. And one day, it just hit me. And I want to share this with you, and I want to share this with your audience because this is so exciting. Listen to me. Every miracle begins with a problem. Now, let me say to you, I'm a person of faith, okay? Not asking you to be a person of faith, but I am. And so when I
Me too.
Okay. Well, there.
Yo también.
Okay. Ishmael and I. Okay,
Dios
two
es
people of
amor.
faith. Okay. When you look at miracles in the Bible, there's only one thing, trust me on this, that every miracle has in common. And it is the fact that every miracle begins with a problem. There is no miracle without a problem. Now, I love this because when people have a problem, they say, oh my gosh, I got this problem. And I look at them and say, oh, no. If you think correctly, you're going to understand because you have this problem, you're a candidate for a miracle.
Wow.
In fact, let me explain it to you this way. The person who really has a problem is a person who has no problem. Because if you have no problem, you can't receive a miracle. Yeah. But the moment that you have a problem, now you're a candidate for a good thing to happen to you. We're talking about how do you take your obstacles and turn them into opportunities. And so when I see a problem now, I don't say, oh my gosh, another problem. I look at it and say, oh, this is an opportunity for me to receive a miracle.
Soy un candidato para un milagro. A candidate for a miracle.
Absolutely. Hey, the only non-candidates are people who have no problem.
Yes. And who has no problems?
Let's put it this way. If you have no problem, you don't need any of my material, okay? You just don't. But if you have a problem, you do need some of my material, okay? So let's review. How do you and I take our obstacles and turn them into opportunities? Number one, obstacles and mistakes into perspective. Number two, understand how opportunity works. And the third one is learn how to change your thinking. I read an article recently that said that people who win the lottery, they very quickly, a high percentage of them quickly lose their money. And I said, well, how does that happen? Why do they lose their money? And it's because although they've got money now, they haven't changed their thinking. Example, 150,000 winnings. Those people that have won the lottery, twice as many of those go bankrupt as the general population. Wow. Again, they haven't changed their thinking. I remember when I was wanting to become a better golfer, my instructor said, John, you have to change your grip. And I remember I changed my grip and I got better results. And there would be times, though, that I really had an important shot, and I would find myself wanting to go back to the old grip because I was more familiar with it. And what I had to learn is what I want to teach you, and that is we have to make conscious change, and we have to continue to make it. And as I've watched people, I've watched when they make changes. People change usually for three reasons. First one is the fact that they understand that change can happen, that it's personal with them, and that they need to change. In other words, they heard enough that they're saying, okay, I'm willing to make that change. Now, it's also possible that you will make change because you begin to understand through this program that it's possible for you to make that change. A lot of people, if they think it's not possible, then they say, I can't change. You're going to learn that you're able to change when you learn enough that you really, really want to. And again, that's what we're going to do. We're going to teach you things that will allow you to want to make that change. Change is profitable. It'll reward you. And so many times people change because they've received enough that they're really able to. In other words, okay, I've learned this, and now I can make that change. And what I have found, Ishmael, as I have taught these ways to think, to be successful, I've watched people who, many of them were so hurting, they said, I got to make a change. I have no choice. This is not the right path. But what was so exciting is to watch those who would learn these thinking skills, and all of a sudden they began to make these incremental changes in their life. Now, no single change that you make in life will have a greater impact upon your life than changing your thinking. I guarantee that.
Wow. I can be listening to you for not 1 hour, like 6, 7, 10, 13 hours. Fantástico.
But you only have to listen to me about it.
Bueno, John, tú estás diciendo, y yo creo que ustedes también están de acuerdo conmigo, que cualquiera que tenga el deseo de cambiar su vida puede hacerlo.
Absolutely. No question about it.
Apuesto a que muchas de las personas que están viendo esto ahora están pensando, y a lo mejor ustedes no se atreven a decírselo a John, pero yo se los voy a decir por ustedes. Está bien en el caso de John Maxwell. Él tuvo a su padre. Yo no tengo un padre que se pasó la vida tratando de descubrir cómo pensar y después se lo enseñó a su familia. ¿Qué hay de ellos?
Here's the good news, Ishmael. Here's the good news for you. I've done all of that for you. I can teach you just the same way that my father taught me. I've literally taught millions of people through my speaking, through my books, through my resources. And I've taught people that are CEOs of large companies, and I've taught mothers that are home just wanting to be successful with their own children and family. And for the very first time, I'm so excited about this, I put together a program based on everything my father taught me, on everything that I've learned since really I began to understand that thinking right is the key to your success.
Wow.
And it's called Turning Obstacles into Opportunities. 11 Secrets for Changing How You Think.
Wow. Turning obstacles into opportunities, convirtiendo obstáculos en oportunidades. Y hay 11 secretos. Bueno, John nos ha dado 2 de las habilidades de pensamiento de las que habla en el programa. Mientras digo el nombre de las otras 9, ¿nos podrías decir cómo ayuda esta habilidad a las personas a ser exitosas?
Absolutely.
Ok, so, adquiere la sabiduría del pensamiento global.
Well, the wisdom of big picture thinking is key, because big picture thinking is all about perspective. What it does is it gives you clarity, and clarity helps you to make decisions. It helps you to align your dreams with your actions. And when you have a big picture, you're faster, you're stronger, and you're better. And I'll bet you, some of you have a dream, but no one has helped you think your way toward that dream. I'll do that with that type of thinking.
Muy bien. La próxima. Libera el potencial del pensamiento concentrado.
You know, my friend Tony Robbins says that where focus goes, that's where energy flows. In other words, what you focus on is what gives you energy. And so focused thinking helps you to tune out distractions, remove that mental clutter, and concentrate on the real issues. And it helps you to focus on things that really need to get done.
Next one, la próxima. Descubre el gozo del pensamiento creativo.
Well, creative thinking helps you to break out of that box of limitations that has been put upon you by others and sometimes by yourself, and it allows you and me to explore new ideas. It allows us to explore options. Creative thinking leads to personal breakthroughs and also for team breakthroughs around it. You just have to understand that once you begin to be creative, you begin to open up a whole new world. I had a friend of mine one time who came to me and said, John, I'm celebrating 20 years on the job. I have 20 years of experience. And I said, no, you have 1 year of experience 20 times. Now, you haven't broken out of the box. You just stayed in that rut for 20 years. You just repeated it over and over and over again.
Wow. La próxima, reconoce la importancia del pensamiento realista.
Yeah. You see, too many people base their lives on wishful thinking. And that doesn't lead to anything but really unfulfilled dreams. And so therefore, this type of thinking, realistic thinking, will help you to build a solid foundation. In fact, what I tell people all the time is, if you've got a big dream that's up there high, you've got to have a realistic thinking foundation that you can stand on, that you can build off of. Now, this is one of the things that I love about teaching this. This was not one of my strong thinking skills. And my brother Larry, who's a very successful businessman, he sat down and he taught me how to do that. In other words, everything that helps you to be successful in how you think is a skill. And that skill can be taught. And what I've committed, Ishmael, to all of your viewers is to help them build those skills and develop those skills so that they think right. Because there's an expression we use often, all is well that ends well. I'm telling you, all's well that begins well.
Yes.
And it always begins with thinking correctly.
Y es una habilidad que podemos aprender. It's a skill that can be taught.
That's exactly right.
Great. La próxima, libera el poder del pensamiento estratégico.
I laugh because most people they spend more time planning their vacation than they do planning their life.
Or the wedding.
Absolutely. And strategic thinking just helps you implement plans that will give direction for you today, and it increases your potential for obviously a much better tomorrow.
Acepta las lecciones del pensamiento reflexivo.
Well, there's a statement we have that many people repeat, and that is, experience is the best teacher. And I would say, no, it isn't. No. You see, if experience was the best teacher, then as people got older, they'd get better. And I know a lot of people, they're getting older and they're not getting any better at all. You know what I'm saying? So experience is not the best teacher, but evaluated experience. The ability to take an experience and evaluate that. And that's where reflective thinking comes in. I teach you how to take an experience, reflect on it, pull the best out of it that will help you to be successful.
Great. Fantástico. La próxima, cuestiona el pensamiento común y corriente. I like this one. So it's to be unpopular.
Yeah, well, most people follow the crowd.
Yes.
Wherever the crowd is, they just kind of get herded that way. But successful people don't. They don't follow that path. They blaze a path. I mean, they're out front. They're always challenging what is popular thinking. They're basically saying, if everybody else is doing it, since everybody is average, I need to do something else because it isn't going to get me where I really want to. And you've got to be secure in yourself, and you've got to develop this thinking skill that makes you sense that you have the ability to be successful, and you don't have to follow the crowd. You can be who you are to accomplish these uncommon results. You see, if you're not going to be yourself, the question is, then who are you going to be?
Yeah.
You might as well be yourself and not try to follow everybody else's thinking. Get some good thinking for you.
¿Quién eres? Esa es una buena pregunta. Si estamos siendo nosotros mismos. La próxima, promueve la participación en el pensamiento compartido.
I ask many times people, how do you get a great idea? And a great idea is a result of several good ideas. And so what that means, Ishmael, is if you and I sit at the table and you share with me a good idea and I share with you a good idea, now instead of the one idea I came to the table with, I've got two. But really I have more than that, because when you and I begin to talk about a good idea, it sparks another idea and we have three or four.
Yeah.
And great ideas are a result of shared thinking.
Wow.
And yet so many people, they have a good idea. But it could be a great idea if they learn to find good people to share it with, and then do what I call build the pile of ideas until they have a great idea. And I love teaching people exactly how to do that.
And I love to do that.
Oh, I do.
Share thinking. I love to. It's like a game. Me encanta porque es un juego. La próxima, disfruta los beneficios del pensamiento enfocado en las ganancias. What is this?
Well, bottom line thinking really includes all of the 11 thinking skills that I teach. Because once you learn these 11 thinking skills, it gives you the best possible opportunity and chance to get the right results in your life. You see, I've taught 1 million people how to do exactly what I'm talking to you about. That's why I'm so excited about it, because I have seen the results. And what's so beautiful is that once you see one person make this positive change, you know other people can make this positive change. And what I want you to know is just very simply, what I teach in these 11 thinking skills that help you turn obstacles into opportunities, you can achieve. This is not beyond you. Trust me. Work with me. Let me teach you. And I promise you, you'll begin to see your life become more successful because you're starting to think correctly.
I'm so excited. I want to continue that thinking progress.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you so much,
Thank
John.
you.
Thank you. Muchísimas gracias a John. Sé que ustedes tienen grandes sueños y esperanzas. Sé que han puesto grandes metas en sus mentes para sus vidas. Quieren éxito, poder satisfacer las necesidades de su familia, vivir mejor, recorrer el mundo. Por lo menos para mí ha sido un sueño, construir un negocio que sea un legado, poder contribuir con su comunidad y su iglesia y hacer la diferencia. Acaban de escuchar que es importante aprender las habilidades del pensamiento exitoso que han ayudado a la gente más exitosa del mundo. Entienden que hay ciertas estrategias que no se enseñan en la escuela. A mí no me lo enseñaron en la escuela y no se nace además con este conocimiento. Hay dos formas de aprender. Con muchos años de experiencia que a veces implican mucho ensayo y error, como dijo John, y si tienen mucha suerte, alguien que ya sea muy exitoso y que se haya puesto a estudiar el éxito puede ser su mentor y enseñarte las prácticas y las habilidades para que el pensamiento exitoso sea tu forma de pensar y pueda ayudarte a crear los resultados que van a transformar tu vida en la vida que deseas crear. Nos sentimos emocionados de traerles este programa, convirtiendo obstáculos en oportunidades, 11 secretos para transformar tus patrones de pensamiento. Hemos recabado enseñanzas básicas, los consejos, las herramientas que necesitan para aprender las habilidades de pensamiento de las que hemos hablado y de las que hemos escuchado a John. Y de verdad, yo lo puedo decir porque lo he estudiado, lo he leído, lo he escuchado y lo he puesto en práctica en mi vida, hacen la diferencia. Ahora, este programa está disponible para ustedes a partir de este momento. Todo es digital, como corren los tiempos. Los videos de capacitación están disponibles las 24 horas del día, 7 días de la semana. Pueden verlos todas las veces que quieran. Todo lo que necesitan está ahí. Y la plataforma se puede usar en dispositivos móviles, o sea que lo podemos tener en tablets o nuestros teléfonos. Incluso pueden descargar las lecciones de audio, llevarlas con ustedes para escucharlas donde quiera que se encuentren. Estamos haciendo todo lo que está a nuestro alcance para que cuenten con la capacitación que necesitan para alcanzar sus metas. Porque una de las capacidades que yo encontré hace mucho tiempo a través del liderazgo es, como dice John siempre, add value, añadir valor. Y eso es lo que me propongo en mi carrera como profesional. Por eso estamos tratando de hacer que todos ustedes juntos obtengan mayores niveles de éxito de la manera más sencilla posible. I'm so excited, John, to be doing this with you because I've been a student of yours. I've been reading your books, listening to you. I'm subscribed to the Minute with Maxwell, and I've learned a lot. And you have changed, literally, the way I think.
Thank you.
So we'll share that with the Hispanic world.
And that's so exciting because it's an honor to be with you. And it's an honor to be able to share with you about these training materials and how that they are transformational, how they really will change your life. They've changed my life, they've changed Ishmael's life, they'll change yours. And it's entirely possible that your life can be changed just when you begin to change your thinking. Now, it's easy to get stuck in one way of looking at things. It's tempting to think that some people are just lucky or they were born in the right place at the right time, had all of the advantages. But none of those things is near as important as your thought process. You can refine your thought process and learn the thinking skills that will make all the difference in your world.
Es muy cierto. Hay tantas personas que quieren ser más exitosas y no saben cómo. Estoy hablando incluso de gente inteligente, personas educadas, trabajadoras, pero no están desarrollando todo su potencial. Y eso puede ser frustrante. Cuando estamos hablando, John, that there are people that are really smart, intelligent, they work a lot, but they are not really obtaining or developing their fullest potential.
Oh, that's true. And what I would want our people to know is that everyone, I think, really would like to grow. I think every person wants to get better. And I've worked with a lot of people that they've basically hit a plateau. And they want to build a better life. Mm-hmm. They want to create a secure future for future generations. They want to create a legacy, but they're having a hard time getting there. And they try to make progress by working harder and harder and harder. And they're good, they're smart, they're successful people, but they have not yet understood that until they change their thinking, they're never going to reach the level of success that they want to. In fact, look at it this way. Bad thinking is the lid, okay? And no matter how high you want to go, if you've got a lid of bad thinking on your life, you just aren't going to reach your potential. And the good news is, I'm a lid lifter. I just take that lid and I pull it off, and then all of a sudden, oh my goodness, I can go to a whole new level. That's exactly what this will do for the people.
Hay que quitar la tapa. Sabemos que para alcanzar los más altos niveles no hay que trabajar más arduamente, aunque no les voy a mentir, van a tener que al menos hacer acto de presencia y trabajar, pero necesitan conocer las habilidades para pensar con mayor inteligencia y estrategia. Ahora necesitan saber cómo aprovechar oportunidades y cómo también influir en la gente. Necesitamos los seres humanos, los líderes, saber cómo evaluar ideas y solucionar problemas con creatividad. And that changed my life when I understood the power of real good and great thinking.
Oh, yes.
To influence people and to create a better life.
And it not only changed your life and my life, it'll change your life also. You see, once you know the skills of successful thinking, the possibilities are endless. And learning the right thinking skills changes you and it changes your potential.
Es correcto, pero tienen que aprender el proceso. Se trata de un proceso realmente específico y en este programa John se los explica y yo compartiré mis experiencias e historias, además de traerles esta capacitación y guiarlos en este recorrido. Tomar la delantera y aprender las habilidades de pensamiento de las personas más exitosas te va a dar ventaja en todos los aspectos de tu vida. Estos son los beneficios que obtendrán de dominar las habilidades del pensamiento exitoso. Por ejemplo, tener claridad, no solo en cuanto a lo que quieres, sino en cómo obtenerlo. En este programa crearemos un plan, diseñarán ustedes mismos una estrategia y van a aprender cómo analizar y cómo evaluar y después actuar para obtener resultados. Vas a aprender cómo ver el panorama global, ver las posibilidades y oportunidades y perfeccionar la ruta para hacer sueños realidad. Vamos a aprender cómo pensar con creatividad para resolver problemas y buscar soluciones cuando todo el mundo está estancado. John les va a enseñar a encontrar posibilidades donde antes solo veíamos obstáculos. Esto es muy importante. John will teach us how to see opportunities
That's it.
where we saw obstacles.
That's it. That's what you and I are both for. I can tell you, my friend, this day will be a great day if your viewers can just be trained and learn these thinking skills. I know how you want to add value to people. I know how I want to add value to people, and so we've decided to come together.
Yes.
And add value to people together. We're going to do it together. And we're doing it because we want to see you be more successful.
En 11 secretos para transformar tus patrones de pensamiento, John les enseñará las estrategias para el éxito del pensamiento realista, para que puedan anticipar las barreras que los detienen y prepararse para el éxito. Esto en verdad diferencia a los ganadores de los demás. Ellos han puesto en marcha un plan y sí, pueden ser flexibles, por eso es que todas estas habilidades son tan importantes y en conjunto funcionan de una forma hermosa. Pero es importante ser realista también, saber hacia dónde se dirigen y estar preparados. Este programa les enseñará cómo hacerlo, cómo tener una estrategia y hacer un plan de acción. También veremos qué es el pensamiento de posibilidades para que no se queden estancados donde están ahora y para que puedan soñar en grande y continuar con un plan claro para lograr sus metas. En realidad, funciona todo en conjunto. El pensamiento reflexivo les enseñará cómo no cometer el mismo error 2 veces. De hecho, aprenderemos cómo aprovechar los contratiempos para aprender y convertirlos en triunfos en el futuro. Les vamos a mostrar por qué no quieren caer en la trampa del pensamiento común y corriente, seguir todos, como decía John, parte de la manada, solo porque todos los demás lo dicen, porque lo vieron en internet, en los medios sociales, incluso si es un dicho de sus antepasados, que no significa que sea cierto, que lo sea en su caso. En esta capacitación les enseñaremos cómo analizar la información y tomar decisiones inteligentes. Van a adquirir sabiduría, confianza, porque sabrán cuál es el contexto. Así que de verdad que yo estoy feliz de poder compartir con John este programa porque estoy seguro que les cambiará la vida. También hablaremos sobre el pensamiento compartido porque cuando tienen estas ideas increíbles y bien pensadas y planes estratégicos, querrán inspirar a un equipo para que los ayude a llevarlas a cabo. El pensamiento desinteresado también es una parte fundamental de esta capacitación, porque todos conocemos la bendición de hacer cosas por los demás. Como dice John, añadir valor, add value to people. Bueno, eso es tener la capacidad de mejorar las vidas de aquellos a los que amamos y tener impacto en nuestra comunidad. Es nuestra vocación y un honor servir a los demás de esta manera y es un paso verdaderamente esencial en las prácticas de pensamiento. Y para unirlo todo, vamos a compartir con ustedes el pensamiento enfocado en las ganancias. Ahí es donde verán los resultados. Este es un proyecto para enseñar las habilidades y darles la perspectiva que necesitan. Yo pregunto, ¿le gustaría a usted poder crear un futuro próspero para usted, para su familia, donde pueda tener la libertad de servir a otros y diseñar una vida en la que pueda concentrarse en las cosas que le trae dicha a usted y a sus seres queridos al aprender las habilidades de pensamiento que motivan el éxito? Seguro que la respuesta es sí. La buena noticia es que están en el lugar correcto porque we'll show you step by step what to do.
Absolutely.
Correct?
Oh, yes. We're committed to that. We're going to not only start you well, we're going to finish you well. And this is important in our training. I've learned that it's important to give people a step-by-step process so that you're not overwhelmed. And I've learned these same lessons, and I've honed them over the years, and it's just such a privilege to work with Ishmael to bring them to you. We're very excited about this.
John ha enseñado a millones de personas estas habilidades para el éxito que necesitan para convertirse en grandes líderes, construir negocios significativos, ser incluso líderes de iglesias, dirigir organizaciones, transformar comunidades. Él ha ayudado a la gente a alcanzar niveles de éxito a los que nunca pensaron llegar. Y bueno, ustedes lo saben porque le he dado crédito a John incluso desde el poder de escuchar mi primer libro. Siempre dije, John es uno de mis grandes mentores, es un gran maestro, sus historias ejemplificarán la capacitación tan bien que ustedes entenderán y podrán implementar estas ideas en su propia vida de inmediato. Yo también estaré con ustedes, compartiré mis experiencias personales, además de hacer énfasis en las enseñanzas magistrales de John.
Ishmael, as you know, just like your greatest joy is adding value to people, that's my greatest joy. Adding value to people like you. I want to help you to live a significant life, one of abundance. And I love to help people like you achieve their goals and their dreams because I know you have a dream in you. We want to help you get there. James Allen said, "You are today where your thoughts have brought you, and you'll be tomorrow where your thoughts take you."
Wow.
That's why I'm teaching people like you how to know how to think right. And I know my thinking, Ishmael's thinking, your thinking will determine your future, and we're going to set you up for a beautiful tomorrow.
Y esa es la frase que más o menos resuena con algo que yo aprendí, se me quedó en la mente, que es, si cabe en tu mente, cabe en tu vida. Pero para que quepa en tu mente, tienes que aprender a pensar mejor. Así que de verdad quiero motivarte porque puedes hacerlo. Puedes llegar al siguiente nivel. Me emociona enormemente compartir este programa de capacitación con ustedes para que siempre puedan tener el éxito al alcance de sus manos. Así que estás ahí y cuando las oportunidades se presenten, van a saber qué hacer. Van a contar con la información, con las habilidades necesarias que, créanme, hacen la gran diferencia. Es probable que quieran aprender los secretos para lograr sus metas. Tal vez muchos estén listos para ponerse metas que presenten un mayor desafío, metas más emocionantes, pero saben que les vendrían bien algunas estrategias. O tal vez algunos de los que nos están viendo están estancados y lo saben. Nadie se los tiene que decir. Bueno, los que están estancados van a lograr llegar hasta un cierto nivel, pero no pueden ir más allá. Tal vez incluso se sientan un poco nerviosos de dar el siguiente paso. Hayan intentado dar el siguiente paso en el pasado y bueno, no funcionó de la forma en la que esperaban y se sintieron desalentados, frustrados. A todos creo que nos ha pasado. Si te ha ocurrido esto, no estás sola, solo, sino que cuentas con las herramientas correctas para llegar al próximo nivel. Y esas herramientas, encontrarlas puede ser muy difícil. Todos hemos enfrentado dificultades y después hemos aprendido el truco para facilitar el proceso. Yo, por ejemplo, recuerdo que en muchas ocasiones en mi vida he tratado de no leerme los manuales con que vienen los teléfonos y los aparatitos y empezar a intentar descubrirlos. ¿Y sabes qué? Cometes errores, tardas 3 veces más el tiempo cuando vino un manual. John nos está dando y compartiendo con este programa un manual de estudio práctico, fácil de entender y de aplicar en nuestras vidas. Así que ahí está, para que tú tomes el siguiente paso. Porque todos queremos tener éxito, pero el éxito tiene muchos mitos. No hay que provenir de un entorno privilegiado. De hecho, estas son las clases de cosas que deberían de enseñar en las mejores escuelas de negocios y universidades. Y no lo hacen. El éxito no es complicado. Estas estrategias para el éxito no son difíciles, son poderosas. Estas estrategias que se pueden aplicar paso por paso te pondrán en el camino del éxito, como me lo pusieron a mí. Porque si usted estudia mi historia de vida, y voy a compartirla un poquito más en nuestro curso, cualquiera diría que yo no estuve destinado para triunfar. Bueno, no necesitan mucho dinero para empezar. Todo comienza con ustedes. Cuando cambien, su vida cambiará. Todos hemos escuchado historias de gente que se gana la lotería y lo pierde todo. John lo mencionó antes. ¿Por qué? Porque no cambió su manera de pensar. Hemos escuchado historias de gente que se hace rica una vez, lo pierde todo y nunca se recupera. Cuando entiendan cómo hay que pensar, serán más sabios. Mientras crecen, pueden crear una vida más abundante y tendrán además la resiliencia, esa capacidad del bambú y las habilidades para seguir logrando más. No necesitan un título importante tampoco las personas exitosas. Muchos líderes de nuestras industrias aprendieron las estrategias de pensamiento y siguieron sus ideas y han creado negocios que están cambiando el mundo. Ahora es cuando más necesitamos mejores pensadores. Nunca antes gente común y corriente como tú, como yo, habíamos tenido tantas posibilidades a nuestro alcance. Y para eso, ahí sí digo, bendita tecnología. Nunca antes había habido tantas oportunidades. Hay tantas posibilidades para todos en el mundo hoy. Así que aprovéchala. Pero hay que tener las habilidades del pensamiento exitoso y entender cómo hacer que las cosas sucedan. Así es como pueden transformar los obstáculos en oportunidades. Turning obstacles into opportunities. Suena a que hay mucho que aprender. It sounds like it's a lot to learn y que es great job. Pero John ha resumido todo esto en 12 módulos de capacitación en video. Así que se les hará llegar un módulo a la semana. Al inscribirse, recibirán la introducción y el módulo 1 de inmediato para que puedan empezar hoy mismo, ahora, al terminar el webinar. El contenido ha sido diseñado con sumo cuidado, se ha dividido en módulos que son fáciles de asimilar e implementar y esa es la mejor forma de aprender. En realidad queremos que saquen el mayor provecho de cada sección y que aprendan cada habilidad en orden. Queremos que se tomen el tiempo de implementar estas habilidades de pensamiento en el mundo real y que el uso de estas importantes habilidades en su vida cotidiana se vuelva un hábito. Van a notar la diferencia de inmediato, porque verán las cosas de manera distinta. Vamos a encontrar soluciones, vas a encontrar soluciones y oportunidades que tal vez no habías visto antes. Y sabrás además qué hacer con ellas. Tendrán un plan de acción todos ustedes para sacar el mayor provecho de lo que tienen y querrán ir por más. ¿Cómo funciona? Cada semana vas a recibir un correo electrónico que te va a recordar que ya está disponible tu nueva capacitación. Tendrás que entrar a la página web, muy fácil de usar, desde tu smartphone, la tableta, computadora, para ver la capacitación en video. Hay una sección de comentarios para interactuar con los demás, en la que puede alentarse y motivarse entre toda la comunidad, para que todos estemos al tanto de lo que va sucediendo en estas semanas. Además, fíjate, vas a tener un libro de trabajo paso por paso para que puedas asimilar lo que vayas aprendiendo, reflexionar y planear tus estrategias. Todo lo que necesitas está en el sitio web. Incluso podrás descargar lecciones en forma de archivos de audio, que a mí me encantan los audios, para llevarlos contigo y escucharlos fuera de casa. Y bueno, a todos los que ya van a tomar ese próximo paso para ayudarles a que estas estrategias de pensamiento sean algo natural para ustedes, pueden volver a escuchar las lecciones una y otra vez, porque en la repetición uno puede captar mucho de este contenido maravilloso. El sitio web y la capacitación estarán disponibles las 24 horas del día, los 7 días de la semana, durante toda su vida. Pueden regresar y repetir todo el curso, solo alguna sección cuando lo necesiten. Es como tener a John y tenerme junto a John para que los asesoremos en persona. Al comprar el webinar, recibirán acceso inmediato en línea, más de 25 horas de capacitación exclusiva, capacitación en video de John C. Maxwell y también de este servidor. Obtendrán nuestras historias, experiencias y reflexiones. Pueden escuchar la capacitación del video desde donde estén con los archivos de audio, un completo libro de trabajo, hojas de trabajo y ejercicios para cada sección. Acceso a un foro privado para el éxito. Lo podrán descargar de inmediato en sus smartphones y tabletas para que puedan aprender sin importar dónde estén. Y, por supuesto, tendrán acceso ilimitado a la capacitación dinámica en video que querrán ver una y otra vez. Yo soy de esos que nunca deja un curso por terminado, siempre vuelve. ¿Cuánto? La inversión. Muy fácil. Nosotros estuvimos viendo los precios de todos estos cursos y dijimos, queremos añadir valor a las personas, por lo tanto, que sea un precio totalmente accesivo. Solo $295 por todo este cúmulo de información. Y esa es nuestra garantía. Nuestro compromiso es poner a tu disposición la mejor capacitación y sabemos que te va a encantar. Nos alegra ofrecer una garantía libre de riesgos. Dentro de 30 días, si miras los videos, haces el trabajo y no ves resultados, solo nos pides un reembolso y se te dará. Para registrarte ahora y obtener acceso inmediato a la introducción y al primer módulo, y para comenzar a aprender las estrategias y habilidades de pensamiento que te van a impulsar a tener éxito en el futuro, haz clic en el botón que está abajo y los va a llevar a una página que explica todos los beneficios y características y les da la oportunidad a todos los de esta comunidad de empezar en este momento juntos a trabajar nuestra nueva manera de pensar. Así que elige una opción de pago, proporcione unos cuantos datos y tan pronto como compre el paquete y te registres, vas a recibir la información para tener acceso al sitio web y comenzar con el proceso de aprendizaje de inmediato. Fácil. Y ¿saben una cosa que siempre yo digo, hay que invertir en lo que nos va a hacer crecer. Esa siempre ha sido mi política desde que compré mi primer programa de audio cuando todavía trabajaba como mesero en Toronto en el año 2000. Así que gracias por estar aquí, pero ahora el próximo paso es que los quiero ver allí, en el curso. Este es el único lugar donde usted va a tener acceso al programa y solo estará disponible por tiempo limitado. Así que haz clic ahora en comenzar para registrarte. Ahí nos vemos. John, thank you so much. And we'll see these people, these beautiful people soon.
Absolutely. I'm excited.
In the course.
Absolutely.
Of giving up on yourself, of not stepping out on life and taking life on. What is the benefit for you? What's the plus in that? It's one of the things I had to ask myself. So I didn't want to make any mistakes. I wanted everybody to like me. I wanted to be perfect the first time I did something. It's not going to happen. You're going to make some mistakes. You're going to hurt some folks' feelings. You're going to create some enemies whenever you decide that you want to begin to take life on.
Absolutely.
Of giving up on yourself. You've got to ask yourself, how long am I going to allow this to hold me back? Fear is false evidence appearing real. What is the you want to begin illusion that we create in our mind? It is a state of mind that can be changed. Look at your life right now. Whatever you've done up to this point in time, your life is working. Whatever you have produced, it came out of you as a result of the kind of person that you have become. Of giving up on yourself. As a result of your choices, as a result of your consciousness. Out on life and taking now you have to ask yourself, are you satisfied with what you have produced? Is this what you want? Would you like for things to be better than this? Do you believe that you deserve better than this? Or are you content? This is it. You don't have to do anything else. If you already resign yourself in life, you say, well, I'm happy. I'm not starving like the people in Calcutta. Are you allowing yourself to get off the hook like that? Or do you believe somewhere in the back of your mind or in your heart that there's some other great work for you to do? There's something else that life has for you. I believe that you have to begin to consciously monitor your inner conversation and start talking to yourself. Start building yourself up. Sometimes the only good things you will hear about you are the things that you say to you.